Crypto friends. Sparkster, bring your ideas to reality. What if decentralized software could be built by anyone in plain English without knowledge of programming or blockchain architecture? That's the Sparkster platform. What if this smart software could run at 10 million TPS transactions per second? That is very fast. The Sparkster Decentralized Cloud. Sparkster is accelerating blockchain adoption and wants everybody to join this revolution. I think this project is massive. This is a really good project. There's lots and lots of info on the website. They got two very good advisors. And I actually I read it all, and it's really very informative. I also did a tutorial, and let's have a look at that, so you can see how easy it is.
We're going to create an insurance smart contract. This insurance smart contract is going to do a few things. It's going to take in an insurance application. It's going to store the data for that application. It's then going to calculate the premium on the insurance, and it's going to decide whether to approve or deny that application based on a formula. Let's see how all of this is done. So as we log into the platform, we're going to be prompted. We're going to select the smart contract template. And we're going to click on behavior. Now you'll notice there's already a block of logic defined for us to help us get started in our process of creating a smart contract. Let's click on the smart contract section. And we're going to get a few options there. So we're going to create a document on the blockchain, and we're going to give it this name. So don't get overwhelmed here. We're going to explain everything along the way.
Smart contracts. Behavior.
So as we log into the platform, we're going to be prompted to click on behavior to get started. So let's click on behavior. Now we're going to select the smart contract template. And we're going to click on behavior. Now you'll notice there's already a block of logic defined for us to help us get started in our process of creating a smart contract. Let's click on the smart contract section. And we're going to get a few options there. So we're going to create a document on the blockchain, and we're going to give it this name. So don't get overwhelmed here. We're going to explain everything along the way.
Well, let's do that.
We're actually going to define something called a data structure. A data structure is just a way of actually creating our own variable. So say we want to create an applicant as a data structure. That applicant's going to have a certain age, they're going to have a certain weight, they're going to have a premium. So those are all the attributes that an applicant has. And a data structure is just one way of defining something. This could also be a house. A house could have, for example, a number of rooms, a number of bathrooms. In our case, because we're creating an insurance smart contract, we're going to add age, application status, weight, premium, and the applicant's address. This is going to be their wallet address.
Let's see what it does. Hey, come on.
You'll see
All right.
you'll see the weight as a number, premium as a number, applicant address as a wallet address, and you'll see how all of the features of a smart contract unfold here. Let's go click on smart contract. Here we have create message called application approved with the inputs. So we're going to define a few inputs here that will enable us to have some functionality. So we're going to create the address as a wallet address and the amount to pay as a number field.
All right.
We're going to want to be able to fire some functionality as we progress forward. So here we have create address as a wallet address, and we have create amount to pay as a number field, and we have create Ethereum function called approval. Let's add some functionality. So I'm going to drag and drop a few blocks of logic here. Fields such as the insured address, the insured weight, the insured premium. Let's define the input fields as well. So we're going to define these fields and then we're going to use them as input and also as output. So let's take an input block and use some of the fields that we just defined. So in this case, we're going to take input as insured address, insurer weight, and insurance premium. Once we've defined those terms and placed them as inputs, we're actually going to add some logic here. So if certain conditions are met, we want something to happen, and if they're not met, we want something else to happen. So an example of this would be, if you're good, you get pizza. If you're not, you don't. In our case, we want to say if the insurer weight is less than 600, we want one thing to happen.
All right.
So let's take an input block and use some of the fields that we just defined. So in this case, we're going to take input as insured address, insurer weight, and insurance premium. Once we've defined those terms and placed them as inputs, we're actually going to add some logic here. So if certain conditions are met, we want something to happen, and if they're not met, we want something else to happen. So an example of this would be, if you're good, you get pizza. If you're not, you don't. In our case, we want to say if the insurer weight is less than 600, we want one thing to happen.
Provides. See how easy this works, guys.
In fact, we want the application status to be set to be approved if the first condition is met. If the insure weight is less than 600, we want the insurance records to be updated, the applicant address equal to the insured address, and set the application status to be approved. This is all if the initial condition is met. The applicant's address is the same one as above, the insured address. We want all of this that we defined earlier will be used here, and we want the application status to be set to approved. If the insurer weight is less than 600, the application status which we defined earlier as the text field is set to be approved. This is all happening inside this function that we've created called approval.
Wait a minute.
Next, we want to fire off an event. So let's head up towards the event section of blocks. And this is going to be added here. If it is approved and the insurer weight is less than 600, we want to fire an application approved message. That message, which we'll call application approved message, will fire as per what we defined prior and set the address and the amount to pay. The address will be set to insured address, which we defined earlier above, and the amount to pay will equal the insurance premium.
Very easy, this, very easy.
So now we're going to define a new function here, create Ethereum function called getInsurance. And we're going to add or define variables here, such as the age, the weight, applicable premium, my address, and we're also going to define an input section here as well to use the various variables that we've just defined, such as age, weight, applicable premium. As inputs, we're going to take my age, my weight, and my address.
All right. My age, my weight, my address.
Once we've got all those components, we've defined my age, my weight, applicable premium, my address. Once we've defined those and we've said that the inputs will be my age, my weight, my address, we're going to use a set block using those variables that says set applicable premium equal to my weight, and we've created some calculation here that you can see for yourself. You can define this as you want. You have the flexibility to manage that formula. So we have a formula here, and we're going to create a new insurance record block document. We just dragged and dropped that, and you can see provide input. The input block here has set the age equal to my age, the application status equal to pending approval, and all of those various functionalities there are provided for you.
Look at that. Oh, this one here.
And we copy that address and we paste that below in the address box here in the Sparkster platform. So here we paste our address, which I had already copied from my Ethereum wallet, and we paste that there. When we now click deploy, this is how our smart contract will be used inside the Sparkster platform. Once deployed, it will tell us your smart contract is deployed successfully. And we're done. You have now deployed a smart contract from start to finish, all in plain English, without writing any code. Congratulations.
Save. And here we can put in the address if you want, and we can deploy it. How easy is that? How easy is that? Even my mother can do this, and she does know nothing about computers. So guys, Sparkster, vive la revolution. Keep an eye on this one, because this one is gonna be big, very big.